It is someone's birthday dinner, one of those long tables at a restaurant that is a little too loud. Sasha is there, of course they re there, Sasha. It's always there, they brought a card. They remembered the wine preference. They laughed at the right jokes and asked the right follow-up questions and made sure the quiet person at the end of the table felt included. And then someone, maybe the birthday girl, maybe a mutual friend, doesn't he matter, turns to Sasha and says, "How are you doing though?" Actually, and there is this half second, this tiny gap where something flickers behind Sasha. Something honest, something tired, something real, and then it closes. "I am good. Yeah, really good." Everyone moves on, because that is what Sasha always says, and because no one at that table has ever had a reason to not believe it. Here is the thing though, Sasha wasn't lying. Not exactly. They were doing something more complicated than lying. Something that does feel like a choice, because it hasn't felt like a choice in years. There is a name for what Sasha was doing. Psychologists call it the mum effect. And if you ever swallowed a true thing to keep the room comfortable, this one, S for you. Mum stands for minimizing unpleasant messages. It isn't lying, it is reputation management, so automatic you don't even notice you are doing it. It was first studied in 1970 by two psychologists, Rosen and Tesser, who set up a simple experiment. They asked people to pass along a message to someone else. Sometimes the message was good news, sometimes it was bad, and here is what they found. Consistently, across the board, when the news was good, people delivered it fast, eagerly, almost happily. But when it was bad, they stalled. They softened it, they watered it down. A lot of the time, they just didn't pass it along at all. This wasn't a personality thing. It wasn't that some people were timid and others were brave. Almost everyone did it. It showed up in hospitals, in classrooms, in offices, in families. Wherever there were humans and bad news, there was mum. 40 years later, a researcher named Dibble added a layer. He found that mum isn't just about holding back the bad stuff. It is also about rushing to share the good stuff. The filter works both directions. People amplify the positive and compress the negative, which means the version of reality that reaches you from basically anyone in your life has been quietly edited before it gets there. The good parts turned up, the hard parts turned down, like someone ran your life through a filter before you got to see it. And then in 2019, a research team led by Leslie John figured out why this keeps happening. They ran 11 experiments and found something that hurts a little to hear. People automatically like you less when you bring them bad news. Even if you had nothing to do with the bad news, even if you were just the messenger, the act of being near unpleasant information makes people associate you with unpleasant feelings. It is not fair, it is not rational, but it is one of the most consistent findings in social psychology. So when Sasha swallowed whatever they were about to say at that birthday dinner, they weren't being weak. They were doing something ancient, protecting their place in the room. If I say the real thing, I become the unpleasant thing. And humans don't reward unpleasant messengers. They avoid them. Stay quiet, stay light. Okay, but here is where it gets personal, because mum is universal. Everyone does it to some degree, but some people live inside it. For some people, "I am fine" isn't an occasional white lie. It is the default setting. It is the whole operating system. If that is you, there are usually 3 reasons running underneath, and they tend to stack. The first one is training. Think about what you were praised for as a kid, not the big stuff, the small stuff, the atmospheric stuff. Were you the easy child? The one who didn't make a fuss? The one adults described as mature for their age? Which, honestly, usually just means you learned early to read a room and suppress whatever didn't fit. Sasha was that kid. The one who noticed when their mum was stressed and quietly put their own needs away. The one who got the message, not from any single moment, not from any obvious trauma, just from 1,000 tiny signals. That the household ran smoother when they didn't. Need things. That being good meant being low maintenance. That love was easier to access when you didn't ask for much. If you grew up like that, mum isn't something you picked up. It is something that was built into you, layer by layer, before you had the words to question it. You didn't learn to say, "I am fine." You were shaped into someone for whom "I am fine" feels more natural than the truth. The second reason is power. or more specifically, the fear of losing something. Researchers have found that mum gets stronger when there is a power imbalance. The employee holds back with the boss. The student holds back with the professor. The newer friend holds back with the established group. And in close relationships, it works the same way. Whoever cares more about keeping the relationship, whoever is more afraid of rocking it. Mum's harder. You don't say the food was bad because you don't want them to feel criticized. You don't mention that their friend made you uncomfortable because you don't want to seem difficult. You don't bring up the thing that has been bothering you for 3 weeks because what if this is the conversation that breaks it? So you trade honesty for stability, and it works for a while. The relationship stays smooth, but smooth isn't the same thing as real. And the third reason, this one is tricky, because it disguises itself as kindness. When you hold something back, what is the story you tell yourself? Usually something like, I don't want to hurt them. They can't handle it right now. It would only make things worse. Sounds generous, and sometimes it is. But sit with it for a second. What you are actually doing is making a decision for someone else. Deciding that they are not strong enough for the truth. You are editing their reality without their permission. And the version they are living in. It is the one you built for them comfortable. Incomplete. Sasha does this constantly. They carry things alone because they've decided, somewhere deep, somewhere they've never examined, that the people they love are too fragile for the unfiltered version. That Sasha's job is to absorb and manage and smooth things over, because that is what love looks like. But here is the quiet part. It is also a way of staying in control, not because you are cruel, because control is what safety looks like when you grew up earning love by being easy. If you are the one who decides what others can and can't know, you never have to be vulnerable. You never have to find out what happens when someone sees the unedited version of you. And that might be the part that is hardest to look at. Let's talk about what happens when mum runs long enough. On the surface, everything looks fine. You have friends. You have people who love you. You show up. You are reliable. You are warm. But there is this thing that happens late at night, or in the shower, or on the drive home, where something lands on you that you can quite name. This feeling of being fundamentally alone. Not because nobody's around, because nobody knows you, not the real version, and you can even be mad about it. Because you are the one who hid it. That is the first cost, the loneliness that lives inside a full life. Here is the second cost, and it is the one nobody warns you about. Mum is contagious. When you consistently show people the easy, pleasant, I am good version of yourself, they learn something about you, not consciously, but instinctively. They learn that you are not someone they can bring hard truths to. Your warmth reads as fragility, not because you are fragile, but because you taught people that the easy version is the only version they are allowed to meet. Your agreeableness reads as a boundary. Go deeper with this person. So they start filtering themselves around you too. They don't tell you when something's wrong. They don't bring up the awkward thing. They perform the same pleasant, edited version right back at you, and now you are both doing it. And neither of you knows. You are not telling them the truth. They not telling you the truth. The relationship feels close. You see each other all the time. You text every day. You know each other's coffee orders. But the closeness is a kind of performance, a mutual agreement to keep things comfortable at the cost of keeping things real. Sasha sits in this every day. Everyone in Sasha's life thinks they know them. They know that Sasha likes horror movies and hates coriander and always picks up the phone. What they don't know is that Sasha cried in the car before the birthday dinner. That Sasha has been quietly falling apart for months. That Sasha answers, I am good. So automatically now that they sometimes can tell whether it is true. That is the deepest cost of mum. It is not just that other people can see you. It is that after long enough, you start to lose sight of yourself. You've been editing for so long that you are not sure what the unedited version even sounds like anymore. Someone asks what you want, and your honest answer is, I don't know. Not because you are indecisive, because the part of you that had once went quiet a long time ago, and you never noticed it leave. I'm not going to tell you to just be honest. That is like telling someone who hasn't stretched in 10 years to do a split. The spirit is right. The method is terrible. If your mum has been running for a long time, it is not a habit, it is infrastructure. It doesn't turn off because you decided it should. So instead of willpower, let's talk about practice. Start small. Start where it doesn't matter much. Don't begin with the big conversations. Not with your partner, not with your parents, not with anyone whose reaction feels high stakes. Start with the low-risk interactions. The barista, the co-worker you chat with but aren't close to. The group chat where you usually just send a thumbs up. Say something small and true. Actually, I didn't love that restaurant. I disagree with that take. No, I am not free that day, not to be confrontational. Just to let your nervous system learn that honesty doesn't end in disaster, that the room doesn't collapse when you say a real thing. You are not practicing bravery, you are retraining a reflex. Learn one sentence. When something bothers you. When you feel the mum activate. When you feel yourself about to say it is fine, when it is not. You don't have to address it in that moment. You probably shouldn't. The moment is usually the worst time because your system is already in self-protect mode. Instead, try this. There is something I want to talk about. Not right now, but soon. Can we find a time? That is it. But it does three things. It names that something real exists. It gives you time to figure out what you actually want to say. And it lets the other person know that something honest is coming, so they are not blindsided. It is a bridge between silence and truth. And sometimes, building the bridge is the hardest part. Try the I am fine, check in. This one, S just for you. Once a day, could be at night, could be during a quiet moment. Ask yourself, did I say, I am fine today when I wasn't Don't judge it, don't try to fix it. Just notice, track it like weather. Over time, you will start to see the pattern. Who you mum for, when you do it, what you are protecting. Awareness doesn't fix the pattern overnight, but it makes the pattern visible, and that is where change starts. And then there is the hard part. Some of the relationships in your life exist only because of your mum. They work because you absorb, you accommodate, you perform. And if you stop performing, if you start being honest, some of those relationships won't survive it. That is not you breaking them. That is you seeing them clearly for the first time. A relationship that can only exist when you are pretending wasn't a relationship. It was an arrangement, and you deserve better than an arrangement. The ones that survive your honesty, those are the real ones. Hold on to those. Three things. That is it. Small truth, low stakes, deferred truth. Not now, but soon. One daily check. Where did I disappear today? Same birthday dinner. Same table. Same noise. Same warm light. Sasha? Still there? And someone turns to them. Same question. Same casual tone. How are you doing, like, actually? And the gap opens again. That half second where something honest rises to the surface. But this time, Sasha doesn't close it. Not all the way. They don't deliver a monologue. They don't fall apart. They just say something small and true. Something they would have said 6 months ago. Honestly, it has been kind of a hard few months. But I am working on it. It is not everything. It is not the whole unedited version, but it is real. And the person across the table pauses and looks at Sasha, really looks, and says, I didn't know that. Of course they didn't. How could they? The next time you're about to say, I am fine, and you are not, just pause. 1 second, ask yourself, who am I protecting right now? If the answer is everyone except you, then maybe this time say something small and true instead. You don't have to say everything. You just have to stop saying nothing. If this felt like something you needed to hear tonight, that is what this channel is for. Not fixes, just the right question at the right time. I'll see you next time.